Hey, in today's video, we are going to probably step on some toes a little bit, including my own. But I think this is a conversation worth having. If we're gonna be honest about looking at where our money is going, how we're spending, that probably means we're going to need to be thinking about where money is leaking out. Taking a real clear-eyed look at the places where we're tempted to spend and blow our budget every month. So I wanna talk today particularly about the areas of overspending that we women are more prone to. Now, am I saying that every woman is prone to spending in every category that we're going to talk about today? No, of course not. Am I saying that men aren't prone to overspending or don't have their own categories that they might be more likely to throw money away in? Of course they do. Because our problem when it comes to overspending is not male or female. It's just that I'm a woman, so I can speak to this more directly. And my analytics tell me the majority of my audience are also women. So hopefully some of these will resonate with you and you'll be able to see some of these struggles in your own lives and maybe share down in the comments areas that you've struggled that I haven't mentioned or ways that you've overcome this temptation for those areas where you're more prone to overspend. Because male or female, if we don't take a step back to just look at patterns that might be causing us to break our budgets and not find that financial success, then we're just kind of spinning our wheels when it comes to our budgeting and seeking to be debt-free and looking to invest, all the different components of good financial health. I'm Sarah, and this is It's All His, where we talk about managing God's money, God's way, for God's glory. If that sounds like the type of content that would encourage you and motivate you, please consider hitting that subscribe button, that like button, sharing with a friend, all those good things that help the channel. All right, let's start with one of the first areas that we are most prone to leak our money, and that is all of the noise telling us that we need to buy, particularly the shopping apps on our phones and those emails that we may have subscribed to when we bought, a shirt 2 years ago from whatever place, and they're still sending those emails today and you haven't unsubscribed yet. I have several of those that come through and I'm always like, I should probably unsubscribe, but I might still buy. And what if there's a good sale? And this is one of those areas where we might have a budget leak as women because we're constantly being influenced and told that we need something new and there's this urgency. You need to buy it now because we're having the 60% off sale. There's an excuse for a sale every weekend, every month, every holiday. This is not a good reason to buy something that you didn't plan for, that you didn't budget in. So to help me plug this leak in my own budgeting, I had to delete shopping apps. I had to unsubscribe from emails, and clearly I need to go back in and do that a little bit better because I just got at least 3 emails today from places I'm never buying from. And you might say to yourself, well, these are just little purchases here and there, but those little purchases, they tend to add up. Sometimes, particularly if you're buying clothes online, if there's not a great return policy, you might end up buying something, you don't like how it fits, but you don't want to go through the whole hassle of returning it. And that's money wasted for something you're never going to use. So if this is an area where you are struggling with a leaky budget, unsubscribe, take those apps off your phone, even if you just do it for a while, just to see if that helps you stick to your budget more faithfully. This next area is pretty related. It is that chasing of trends. We women are much more likely to want to follow the newest Instagrammable trend, particularly when it comes to our clothes and our homes. This one actually really kind of stings a little because everything is so aesthetically pleasing on the interwebs. You look and you just see this beautiful kitchen, that outfit that she looks amazing in, and it's so easy to want to keep up with that new trendy thing. If you're seeing words like keep this updated, freshen your wardrobe, or this is more current than last year's fill in the blank, this could be a sign that you're giving into this particular thing that might make your budget a little leaky. Whether it's new throw pillows for your living room, the jeans that are current but are just ever so slightly different from the exact same pair that was current last year and you already have in your closet. Seasonal decor is another one. This is an area where we are definitely tempted to think we need the newest trending thing. It's kind of this quiet pressure that you don't necessarily even realize is on you to keep up with other women, with your peers. So what I ask myself when I find that I'm tempted by this, and it happens, is do I really need this? Do I have something similar already? Do I really need to buy that new pumpkin because it's fall and the pumpkins I've been accumulating over the years just aren't good enough pumpkins anymore? I think this is where biblical contentment is so powerful because it helps us to remember to be happy with what we already have, with what God has already provided us, to think through the sinful heart struggles that are causing me to be discontent and to give in to those influences and those new trends. Because we know, honestly, that we don't need a new wardrobe. new throw pillows, seasonal decorations. We don't need those things to live joyful, wise, and fruitful lives for the Lord. All right, the next area where we women might be a little more likely to leak out money is spending on our kids, and if we've been so blessed, our grandkids. My husband and I had our first grandson last year, and he's amazing. And it's really, really fun to buy him toys that you know are just gonna make his little face light up and make him so excited. And I'm not saying it's wrong to buy your children, your grandchildren, fun things. Our hearts are in the right place, and we want to give good gifts to our children because God gives good gifts to us. That's a way that we image him to our families and to the world. But if we're honest, we can know that this often goes a little too far. We can still give good gifts without breaking the bank and busting the budget. And this is definitely an area where I know I am prone to some impulse shopping, because if I'm in a store and I see something that I think is going to just be so much fun for our grandson to play with, I might be willing to take it out of a different area of the budget I hadn't planned on. Like, this is something I've had to catch myself doing. In fact, I've noticed for me personally, I wasn't so much like this with my own kids, but I'm more that way with my grandsons. I probably need to rein it in a little bit. Kids, especially little kids, they don't need that much stuff. They can't possibly play with all of those toys. Funny story, last week I went thrifting with one of my teenage sons. We love to go thrift shopping, and we had bought our grandson for his first birthday a really cute little Fisher-Price toy vacuum. He loves vacuums, it's adorable. And it wasn't a very expensive toy, and he loves this toy. But when we were thrifting the other day, we found 3 of this exact same toy vacuum for a fraction of the price that we spent on it, in perfect condition. So first of all, I could have totally gotten it for cheaper. But what this also told me is that many people are buying lots of toys for their kids, and they're all ending up donated in thrift shops, at garage sales for pennies on the dollar. We buy our kids a lot of stuff, and they're happy with so much less. More stuff doesn't equal more love. And if this is an area where it's making you break your budget, making it a little bit harder for you to stay headed towards the right track of those financial goals, this is something that I just really think we women are more prone to. And I'm seeing it in my own life right now. I think the best thing we can give our children, our grandchildren, is maybe a little more peace and a little less clutter, less stuff everywhere. And also giving them parents, grandparents who aren't stressed about money because they're so focused on having to buy them all the stuff. It's also a way to help them learn contentment with what they do have, rather than I need more, I need better, this isn't enough, when they're surrounded by toys. Definitely an area I need to do some work in. All right, let's move on to the next thing that we women are much more prone to spend our money on, and that is all of the promise of anti-aging products and the makeups and all the things. This is a big one to be influenced on the internet on. There's always some sort of ad in my Instagram for some special whatever that's gonna fill every line in on your face and make you look lit from within, or whatever the promises are. And listen, I love makeup. I am a girl, and I grew up with sisters. I live in a house of all boys, and I kind of like the girly stuff. I totally get it. But this is an area we women tend to really go overboard on in our budget. We believe the curated advertisement that make us think this product is going to be it. It's going to just reverse all of the aging and blur the fine lines and the pores and whatever promises it makes. And I think most of us know that, yes, you might find a quality product that performs well, and it might be worth the money. But for the most part, we are constantly chasing the next product that's going to make everything perfect. I find this with my hair. I mean, I'm a little embarrassed, honestly, to tell you how many leave-in products I have that you're supposed to put in while your hair is wet before you blow dry, that it's going to just solve the frizz problem. I live in a really humid part of the country. Every product I try does not solve the frizz problem. I just have to embrace it. It's just, there's going to be frizz. So instead of just using up the product that I bought, I see something else and I think, oh, that's it. That's the one that's going to solve the problem. What a waste of money. Now I have 3 bottles of the same type of product, all about half used. It's silly. I'm hearing it coming out of my mouth, and it's even sillier saying it out loud. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with buying an exciting new mascara that you want to try, or a cool hair product. But let's not put our hope in reversing our aging. Let's try to embrace aging gracefully, trusting the Lord in all of it, and not thinking that we can reverse the clock, because we can't. We can take good care of ourselves. We should slather on that sunblock. We should eat well, we should exercise, and we should steward our bodies well, but we're all gonna get older. We're all gonna get wrinkles. And that serum, that 10-step skincare program, that hair product, none of that is going to change that. So this could be an area where we need to rein it in a little bit and maybe simplify and save a lot of money along the way. And right along the same lines is my next area that we women tend to spend a little extra, and that is beauty services, salon visits, hair cuts, all of that kind of stuff. I've talked about this in other videos where when we started on our debt-free journey over a decade ago, this was an area that I really needed to make cuts in because I needed to find some room in my budget to throw extra money at debt and saving for our cross-country move. So instead of going to the salon like I was doing and throwing down $150+ this is over a decade ago, I'm sure it's way more now, I asked my good friend, who was also my stylist, to teach me how to cover up my gray hair. I started going gray in my late 20s, and I'm not ready yet to have fully gray hair. So she came over and helped me figure out exactly what to do. And to this day, I still buy the products at home and touch up my roots way more frequently than I used to have to, but that's another story. I think this is one area that we can just at least take an honest look and decide on our priorities. Maybe you can't forego the salon visit. This is something you can comfortably afford to do and you love it and it's important to you. But could you do your nails at home? Maybe you don't get the mani-pedi every 2 weeks. Maybe you find a way to DIY that. Maybe you can try haircuts at a cheaper salon and just go in for the color at a more expensive salon where they have different skill levels. I don't know what it looks like for you. I know what it's looked like for me and I know how much money it saved me. But this is definitely an area where if we're going and we're getting waxed and fake lashes and nails and hair, and we're doing this all the time over and over while we're still in debt and we're not saving for our future and we're not being wise stewards, this might be a spot that we need to make some cuts or at least take a step back and decide for a time, what can I do myself? Just an honest conversation for us ladies to have if we're ready, because I do think we could all save a lot of money if we do. Okay, so don't come at me for this next one. I'm gonna preface this by saying animals are great. I have 2 cats. They're sweet. I like them. I like dogs. I like animals. Pets are a blessing. But I've done some research and we ladies are way more likely to overspend on our pets than men are. We just are. They don't need outfits. They don't need gourmet snacks. We might be taking this a little too far. Am I saying you're 100% wrong if you're buying your cat pet subscription boxes or your dog Halloween costumes? No, I'm not saying that. I am just saying we could be going a little overboard, some of us. Maybe not all of us. We could be taking a lot out of our budget. If you are stressed about money, but your dog has outfits and gourmet snacks, I would just say, let's just take a step back and look and think about our priorities. I'm not saying get rid of the dog. I'm just saying, maybe for a time, if you're pulling back on your budget, so could little Fluffy too. You can suffer through it together. All right, this next area is one I am so guilty of. It is overspending on those crafting / hobby supplies. I have definitely been this woman, the one who is like, I want to learn a new skill. I want to try this. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's awesome. I think we should do it. We should always be learning. But oftentimes trying the new skill comes with buying all the gear that goes with it. And because to do it well, you need some fairly quality gear. I'm thinking about one of the hobbies I got into for a time, quilting. It's just a lot easier to do it if you have a more decent sewing machine than a real cheap one, or the fabric that you use makes a huge difference. The thread, so many things make it better. And if you're really into quilting and you do it all the time and you're consistent and you love it, then yes, you should definitely invest in those better tools that are going to make it a more enjoyable process and give you a better finished result. But if you're just getting started with whatever craft it might be, for me, it's been quilting, it's been crocheting, it's been scrapbooking, there's lots of them. Maybe you don't need to buy all of the great stuff right away. Maybe there's a way to try it more cheaply. Or maybe you can use the bins of craft stuff that you've accumulated and work with what you have in there first before you go and make a purchase at Hobby Lobby. If you are truly passionate about a hobby and you have a gift, that's fantastic. You should definitely store that well. But if you're just dipping your toe in, or you, like me, have a history of kind of being a jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to the crafty world, maybe just think through those purchases as you're getting started. If you're sticking with it, you're being consistent, you see that you need to upgrade to the new set of whatever, do it then. Once you've seen that you've been consistent and faithful. I would just discourage you, if you're struggling with money, if you have debt you want to pay off, expensive hobbies are definitely an area where you want to cut back and stop that budget leak now. Sometimes we like the idea of being crafty and creative more than the actual implementation, the actual practice of it. So again, as with all these categories, it's just an area where we ladies need to be honest with ourselves. Now, hopefully you get that none of this is meant to make you feel guilty or to be overly legalistic. It's to help us. It's to help us all to think honestly about our financial situation, because we are emotional beings and so much of our emotions impact our finances. So if you're looking to get out of debt, save more, make sure that you are making and sticking to budgets more consistently because you want to be a better steward of what God has given you. Practices like this, looking at our habits and saying, okay, Lord, help me steward things better. Help me to see what I can cut. Help me to see what needs to go, what can stay. This is just a good habit to get in. And it's good to put our eyes kind of freshly on our spending every so often, even if you feel like you've kind of got it all figured out. Maybe you're not in debt. Maybe you do make a budget. But even then, sometimes when we get a little more financially comfortable, that's when we might start to get a little more spendy than we want to be. So it's always good just to take a fresh look at what we're doing, because ultimately our spending is a mirror to our hearts. Are we practicing contentment? Are we growing in the fruit of self-control by the Spirit? Are we finding our hope in God and not in stuff? These are good heart inventory questions we should all be asking, male or female, no matter which areas of spending you're tempted by. I want to be faithful. I want to steward what God has given me well for His glory and to bless the people that He's given me to serve. That's the ultimate goal here at It's All His. It's the ultimate goal of my own financial life. And I hope that this video has helped you see maybe some areas that you're struggling, maybe some areas you could work on, and helps you reframe your mind into what the point is in the first place. Why are we trying to not spend so much? Why are we trying to not live in debt and stick to our budgets? It's for the glory of God. But I'm right there with you. I am not perfect. I'm still learning, and I'm still needing to seek the Lord daily for help to be a wise steward of what He's given me. But awareness, thinking about it, that's the first step. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments, what are the areas that you're struggling with budget leaks, and how have you maybe overcome them? And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that like button, all those kinds of things that help the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.